Hi, Instagram. Happy Wednesday to you, wherever you might be joining us from. I hope that you're having a great day. And this part of Talking on Live always feels so funny. Oh, hi, guys. Welcome. This part of Talking on Live always feels so funny because you don't want to say anything too important because people are going to join afterwards, but you also have to fill this kind of space while you wait for everyone to come on. So, welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. I will be here on my own today, well, with our very special guest, but Wisdom is actually en route to Nashville right now, and we're really excited. We're having a whole bunch of meetings here this week, and we're going to get to meet and connect with a lot of you, and we're really, really excited about it. So, welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm really excited for you to get to hear from our special guest today because I think that each and every person can learn so much from his life and just what it looks like to truly follow Jesus with all you are. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him on. So everybody, please say a big welcome to Zachary Ray.
Hey,
My timing actually worked so perfectly.
that's great.
I was really nervous about it. I was like, Zachary Ray. Hope it works.
This is actually my first like Instagram live. And so I was telling my wife, I'm like, I'm actually like nervous. I've never done one of these. So I'm like, it
Yeah.
works. Great.
Yeah, you did great. You're here.
Thanks. Yeah.
Where are you coming from right now? Where are you
So
guys?
I am in Boston.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
Funny story, I'm literally in my dad pastors just outside the Boston area. I'm in the nursery right now. So we have two boys, and so my wife is in Texas. She's taking a 10-day class for her counseling degree that she has. And so I'm here with my two boys, who's Caden will be 4, and then Landon's 9 months, and we're with my parents right now. So it was like, Dad, I'm coming to the church. Can you watch them? And I'm in the church nursery right now. So,
Yes. I bet it's a very calming place to do this from.
oh, it's really quiet. It's really quiet, but so I was looking for stuff to like prop up my um, phone, but yeah, great. I'm so glad this worked.
Yeah, welcome. It's great to have you
Thank you.
on. I
Thank you.
guess for people who maybe have not heard of you before, tell everybody just a little bit about who you are, the type of
Yeah.
music that you're making, all
Yep.
that.
Yeah, so I've recently, probably within the last like 3, 4 years, have really started to dive into more of the songwriting and recording. Before that, I taught a lot. So I
Oh,
taught
cool.
voice classes, music theory, and so within the last couple of years, just had a couple of opportunities to really start writing. Um, I write a lot more of like pop focused music, and so that's I think that's my strong point. But it's so that's where I've probably the last 4 years, 3 4 years, I've been really writing quite a lot, and putting new music out, meeting different people, and co-writing different producers working with. But yeah, but before this, I taught a lot of music, a music teacher.
Cool. Well,
Yeah,
and that I feel like you probably wouldn't bring this up, but I'll have to say it to brag
yeah.
on you. But you went to Berkeley, right?
Yeah, I did. So I grew up in the Boston area, and it's probably like 15 minutes to get to the college. So I just took the train in. Um, Funny enough, my art teacher was the one that really encouraged me to apply for the school and audition for Berkeley, um, which was, I'm gonna date myself now, which was 2004 I started there. So I was like,
Wow.
so
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So I went, just got an encouragement from my art teacher um, who she played all different types of music when we were in art class. And so then when I was looking at different colleges and thinking about where I'd go, she said,
Hmm.
don't just apply here. And so I did, got in, learned quite a lot while I was there. But yeah, it's and now we're here in the Boston area. We travel
Mm-hmm.
quite a bit, but we're here in the Boston area, so it's really neat to kind of go back, and looks completely different from when I was there and stuff. But yeah, I really enjoyed my time there. Yeah.
That's that is so cool. Well, I spent a lot of time in Boston right after I graduated college and
Okay.
love that place. Like just the
Yeah.
whole city. And really, I think for me, it was the way history is like so intertwined into the way they mapped the city. And
Right.
it's so
Right.
cool.
It's definitely, yeah, it's a walking city when the weather's nice, so you can just walk
Oh, yeah.
everywhere. But yeah.
This isn't actually, guys, this is not an infomercial for Boston, but maybe it is. Go do
Yeah.
the Freedom Trail.
Yeah. So my father-in-law and mother-in-law, they're coming out here to visit, and they're huge history buffs. So I've been
Oh,
going over all the stuff, and I was like, I don't think we can see everything. There's like a ton of just, Paul Revere, where he was buried. You can go, it's just
hmm,
a lot of different things. So, but yeah,
yeah.
come to visit Boston if you can.
But you guys you don't live there full time, right?
No,
Usually.
and this is kind of a little bit of our story. We, um, uh, funny enough, I just had a friend just write something. But we've lived in India for 10 years, and so I just had a friend who's watching, and he wrote, "Please smile when you're on live." So I guess I'm not smiling enough.
He's
But
critiquing
so
you.
yes, yeah. So he's and he did sound. He did a lot of the sound at the church that we'd attend there. But hi, Ruben, if you're watching. But yeah, we lived in India for 10 years. I met my wife there. She was working there too, and so we met each other there. Um, our our first son was born there, and then last year our second son was born here. We're kind of in a holding
Hmm.
pattern right now, just because of everything that's happening there. So we were going to head back this June, but we'll probably be in the fall when we head back. And so um, I taught music there, worked with a music school. We attended a great church that was there in the city of Calcutta, and um, love India. So visit Boston and visit India
Yeah.
if you guys can, those who are watching it when it's, you know, safe to
Yeah.
do. So so we've traveled this past year. We've traveled quite a bit, and hopefully in the fall we'll be able to head back and kind of be there. And honestly, um, the music that I've been writing, the past few songs were all written in India, and then just the opportunities for me to record was, I mean, because of meeting people that have come to visit India, if that makes sense. So like the
Yeah.
first, yeah, the first opportunity, and you can stop me if I'm talking too much because I don't. Yeah.
No, this
So
is great.
yeah, so the first opportunity that I got where I was super excited about it. Those of you guys who know Avalon, the gospel recording, it's always funny because I grew up listening to Christian music, just
Uh,
being growing up as a pastor's kid, and it's pretty much this is what we listened to. And so Avalon was just like huge for me. And so there's one of the singers in that group that came out to work with us for 2 weeks, Jody McBrayer, if you guys know him. So he came out for 2 weeks, and then had an opportunity when we were looking at coming back to the States for a bit to write and record, and through that met other people in Franklin and Nashville, and started writing more. But yeah, so it's been a really
oh yeah.
fun journey to get back into the songwriting, and rather, when I'm teaching a lot, I guess you kind of not lose like your artistry a little bit. You're just focused on teaching and students, and helping them. And so the art that you create, or the songs that you create, kind of
Hmm.
get put in the back burner. So this has been a really nice season just to be able just to focus on songwriting and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love the idea of just people being in India and that's how you connect with them, but then you end up coming back to the States and end up working with
Yeah.
them. Like just seeing the way God ordains things is always
Yeah.
so interesting.
Yeah, even now, the songs that I'm working on now, and that the producer, another plug, Brandon B. incredible producer, incredible songwriter. He's producing the music that I'm working on now, and I met him probably eight years ago in India, and we
Mm.
just stayed connected throughout these years. And then when I was kind of writing for more, he was like, "Hey, I'll produce it." And so I was like, "Great, let's do it." So yeah, so that's been it's been a neat journey kind of into the whole songwriting thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gosh, I love that. What
Yeah.
what do you feel like it was this time that like told you it was time to start focusing more on your own music again instead of just teaching or instead of just the work you guys are doing in
Yeah,
India?
I feel like there was definitely a season of we just felt like the Lord was shifting some things for our family. And 2000 and 2018 towards the end, I'm trying to think,
Uh-huh.
was when we really felt like that shift was happening. And so right around then, had a conversation with Jody, who we had this opportunity to start writing, but I would have to come back to the States. And it was right around the same time me and my wife were feeling like we just needed a break or kind of
Mm.
come back to the States and be with our family and kind of just be here because we were in India quite a long time. And so we just wanted to kind of be back here and everything. And so that all happened at the same time. So we just felt like it was like the Lord just kind of opening some doors for us. And so then 2019 spring, we moved back to the States. And so we've
Wow.
been, writing. And a lot of what I really love to do is kind of that side of the world and
Hmm.
this side of the world when I'm working with musicians and artists, worship leaders, songwriters, producers, is to kind of bring both of those worlds together. And so I love to introduce songwriters in India to producers here, songwriters here to songwriters in India, and kind of just see a really cool collaboration happen through just whatever songs or recording and stuff like that. So that while I've been writing this last year and a half, 2 years, a lot of what I feel like the purpose here too is connecting with musicians and artists here to help connect with artists and musicians in India. Um,
Whoa.
so that's kind of what I've been focusing on too.
Yeah, well, and
Yeah,
you're so uniquely positioned then to kind of have a foot in both of those worlds and respect from people in both of those worlds and like being able to bring them together must just be so life-giving.
yeah, it really is, and I don't know. I think there's something incredibly special that happens when I love to write by myself, but when I'm writing
Hmm.
with people from different perspectives, different backgrounds, different cultures that have been brought up different than me, it's something really special happens when you kind of bring those worlds together, or multiple different worlds. And so, it's just a neat thing, and just it's fun too because you get to kind of collaborate with just different people on different writing and things like that.
Oh, well, yeah, and I mean,
Yeah,
I'm sure you feel like now the music you're making, there's no way to separate it from the life experiences that you've had, right? Like,
right.
I assume a lot of your influences even are just things that are second nature to you now after having lived for so long in India.
Yeah, there is, and I think, and I mean, and even just like the way, like when you're living somewhere different than where you've been brought up and raised, you kind of adapt to different things. And I always say like not one place is better than the other, but there's great things on in both worlds. And so I
Mm.
think kind of adapting and using those things that I've learned living overseas, learning a different language, teaching in a different setting, it does add to that. And then all of the life experiences that happen, um, it really kind of, I mean, with any songwriter, but like it really kind of just is in like your writing, like
Hmm.
what you're sharing and talking about. But yeah,
What? Okay, this is
yeah,
kind of off topic, but how do you feel like for you and your wife and your kids and even your more extended family, like how do you guys think about the concept of home? You know, like when you think about home, How does that, like, how do you define that, or how does your wife define it? Is it
Yeah,
different?
so my wife actually, she grew up in Ukraine and Germany, and she's from the US, so she grew up living overseas. And so um, it there's certain thing. I mean, that phrase like home sounds corny, but like home is where the heart is. But
Oh
like
yeah.
when you're with your family, it
Hmm.
really is. And so especially for our boys, we try to keep a lot of consistency for them. And so even just their wherever we're at, their morning routine and their evening routine are the same wherever we're at.
Hmm.
Um, for Amanda and I will say like this last year or whatever, um, it's just crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
just in general, but like we've lived in so many different places because where we're working or songwriting
Yeah.
or recording or different stuff. Um, and then also we haven't seen family in a long time, so you want to see them, and they're just spread out all over the U.S. And so you're trying to see them, um, and so it's not fun all the time. It sounds like it's like oh you travel a lot. It's not fun all the time. It's not
Mm-hmm.
easy all the time, but we do if there's certain things that we keep really consistent, um, and there's certain just for especially for the boys that we just keep really consistent and kind of just make sure their routines wherever we're at is kind of the same and stuff. But um, yeah, so it's um, home is like where family is, and that's it's pretty pretty much. But we are really looking forward to getting back to be like in our own actual own space as a family and not living with people everywhere. But yeah, yeah. So
Makes total sense.
yeah, yeah.
I guess I'm just so curious about that because I mean, I have not lived a lot of places, but
Okay,
I've
yeah,
lived enough places now that I'm like starting to feel sometimes like fragmented. Like there's certain people that I love so much where we just moved from, and there are
yeah,
certain people that I love so much who lived in Florida where I went to school, and like all these things, and I just can't imagine if they were all the way across the world. Like
yeah,
there would it just I guess I'm getting at, I wonder if you ever feel like, man, half of my heart lives over here, like with my family and where I grew up, and then half of me lives with these people who are my day-to-day life usually, you
yeah.
know?
And you do, and there are certain seasons where you really feel like torn. And
Yeah.
so for us to come back to the States a year and a half ago, that was a season that we really needed to do that. And we really
Mm-hmm.
felt like the Lord was telling us to do that just for our family, like for me and Amanda. I mean, at
Mm-hmm.
that time it was just Caden, and then we had, Landon a little bit later. But there are seasons that you do feel like it's like you're torn, you're living in two different places. I mean, even right now, like where India is with COVID and everything, like
Yeah.
we want to be there with our friends and family, but we also know like we really wouldn't be much help right now. And so we're here in the States, and like um, you try to go from it where you're present, where you're at. And so we really try to, like, when we're here in the US, we're present here. Are there
Mm-hmm.
opportunities here? There's definitely a reason that we're here. It's not by accident. And then when we're living in India, we're present there, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Um, and so, yeah, it's kind of, I mean, definitely now, like these days, I think it's a little bit easier because like the whole world's connected,
Mm-hmm.
the whole with the globalization and everything. Like we're just so easily connected that, um, you know, we can always FaceTime family when we're missing them and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, there are seasons that you feel fragmented and you feel like
Mm-hmm.
I'm half here, half here, half here. And that's when you take, a break or a trip or visit and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that perspective though of like just deciding when we're here, we're going to be here and we're not going to worry about what's going on over. We're going to be present, where we
Yeah.
are and
Yeah. Yeah.
trying to stick to that.
Um, yeah. And I think that. I think if you don't, you miss opportunities that the Lord has for you in certain places when you're living
Mm-hmm.
all over. So we always try to, when we're here, like we're here. When we're there, we're there. Because there's, you can miss out on opportunities or different
Oh,
things that
yeah.
um, God's kind of sharing with you or telling you. But
Totally.
yeah.
Well, and I guess along those same lines, now that you guys have been back for, if I'm doing
Hmm.
the math correctly, that's almost a year and a half or almost two
Yep.
years in the States.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, what do you feel like now that you've been here all this time? Like, what do you feel like it is that God is teaching you or showing you here? Like, you know,
Yeah.
what?
Def definitely this last year, um, patience and a lot of graciousness, if that makes sense. Um, to with just people in general, I guess. When you're in conversation with people and so I think those two things are the major things. Patience on multiple levels, because we want to go, but we can't. We want to be there, but we can't. Um, and then even just within the last year that the U.S. has been in,
Hmm.
a lot of, um, I mean, just different, yeah, a lot of grace. So that's what, yeah, I feel like the Lord's been teaching and talking to me the last year or so here. But that's it. I think that's all I'll say. That's all.
Those are like the two biggest words with the most implications. We were like,
Yeah,
that's it. It hasn't been a
yeah,
big deal or
that's
anything.
fine. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Um, yeah, and when you first, I guess when you're living overseas for a while and then you move back, um, there's uh, like you're happy to be back, but then there's a lot of
Mm,
things that you're dealing, not, I mean, culture shock and different things like that. But then I have to remind, and this is just one piece of the graciousness or one piece of patience and stuff. There's one thing that you kind of remember of, not everybody has lived outside of their town. And so and then it's the same thing when we
yeah.
go back over there, um, you know, you kind of readjust and stuff like that. But yeah, those would be the two
Yeah.
major things. Yeah.
I can't imagine what it was like to come back within the last 2 years after having been gone for so
Yeah.
long.
Yeah. It was a lot, but
Yeah.
it was good. We needed it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a friend who always says, one of her like life mottos is that she tries to believe that everyone is coming to you with their best.
Hmm.
So even when they make a comment that just feels like out of left field, or how could you not see how that's offensive or whatever,
Yeah.
she just said, I like, because of the way the Bible talks about outdo one another and showing honor. She
Right.
said, I always try to assume that people have the best intentions and then allow them to like prove that to me over time
Yep.
versus assuming they meant it exactly how I took it,
Yeah.
you
That's so
know?
good.
And
Yeah.
it just reminds me so much of what you're saying. Like, I think that's a huge part of learning graciousness is just
Yeah.
accepting that somebody says something or hasn't had a perspective shift, maybe the way you have or whatever. And
Right.
when it comes out of their mouth, they don't mean it that way. They just
Yeah.
don't have the holistic experience to know what it is that they're
Yeah.
saying, you
Right.
know?
Right. That's so good. Yeah.
I just,
That's yeah.
when she told me that the first time, I was like, well, I'm a terrible person because
Yeah.
I think I've just been living all this time
Right.
assuming that they mean it, you know?
Yeah. Right.
But
Right.
it's such a reframing of things to try and just assume really everybody's trying to come to you
Yep.
with their best.
Yeah. That's so good. That
Yeah.
really is. Yeah.
I like want to cry just thinking
Yeah.
about her saying it right now. So Toya, if you ever see this, I hope you know that I'm
Thank you.
talking about you.
Thank you, Toya. For
Well, do you have anything exciting coming up soon that people should know about?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't like a full EP that's coming out that I
Oh,
wrote
cool.
um 6 songs. I and then wrote them with Brandon B, who's
Hmm.
another push. Listen to his music; he's amazing. Um, but he's producing it. I In January I went out to Tacoma and recorded all the vocals, and we kind of been back and forth a little bit. Um, and so probably summer, maybe a little bit later. I'll probably ask you guys a lot of questions and like come to you guys a lot with it, but I'm really excited about it because it's not just all these, you know, lately all the songs that have been put out they're like singles, which is great.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, I think it's also a great way to do that, especially nowadays. But this is kind of like a full body of work
Yeah.
um, that's going to be put out. One of the songs, um, this is really exciting because I connected with artists through you guys. So there's like one of the songs that I wrote and then decided I needed to go back and rewrite it. And then there's parts of it that I wanted more of just like not just me on it, but
Hmm.
just a bunch of different people. So Aaron David, you guys work with him. If he's, I don't know if he's on, but so we're going to be doing. Um, he's going to be on it, and there's another friend who's going to be on it. So it'd be kind of this cool kind of collaboration song that we've all
Yes.
kind of come together. So super excited about that, and it's so crazy because like recording these days, like I mean, I guess when I first started recording, even just like a year ago, like I'm in
Yeah.
Franklin in like a big studio and recording, and now it's like you can do it from your home. I mean, you could do that before, but I'm gonna send you all these stems of my vocals, and you're in Nashville, you're in North Carolina, you're in Florida, you're in here,
Hmm.
and then it's gonna come together and be incredible. But so yeah, I mean, the EP and then that song, I think it's gonna be a really special song. It's called "The Search," so you can
Ooh.
be looking for it when it comes out. But
Yeah, that
yeah,
sounds great. We love
yeah.
Aaron, obviously.
Oh
Can't
yeah,
wait to hear
incredible.
it.
Yeah,
So
incredible
good.
vocal. Yeah,
He has some good stuff coming out this year too. So we'll have to have you
that's
both
exciting.
back on after the search comes out and
Yeah,
we can talk about it.
that would be so cool.
Yeah. Well,
So
tell
cool.
everybody where they can find you and connect with you, keep up with you and your family's travels and music.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, anywhere you listen to your music, stream, purchase your music, whatever, it's kind of all over there. And Instagram, Facebook, Zachary Daniel Ray is most of everything. But yeah, would love to connect with you guys, and I'm excited about new music that you guys can hear in a little bit. But yeah,
Yes. Well, thank you so, so much for coming
thank
on and sharing so much about what you guys are doing and, the music that you're making and just being willing to share with others.
thank you, Kat. It was so good to talk to you.
Yeah. You too.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you soon. Bye, Zachary.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week, same time, same place, and Wisdom will be back. See you then.